Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you again for joining me today. Or thank you for joining me again today. One of those two things. Anyway, my name as always is General Confusion, and this is Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri. One thing to say before we really get started. My headphones feel weird. But that wasn't what I meant to say. A different thing to say before we get started. This is a very long game, and I'm in it for the long haul. But in order that it won't be too absurdly long for all of you, I'm going to make a couple of changes. I think I'm going to be doing a little more editing on this to show off only the exciting parts, or the more exciting parts, or things that are interesting that I want to talk about. And I'll be running the episodes a little bit longer. I think I may be going to 45-minute or an hour-long episodes. And of course, they should contain a little more content because I'll be cutting out some of the more boring stuff. So don't expect more long shots of me terraforming if it's just basic stuff that I've already talked about. Once I talk about new stuff, I'll talk about the boreholes and such when they start to come up and strategy involving placing them. But like when I'm just foresting places or farming places or stuff, I probably won't show that very much. So hopefully this will be a little more enjoyable and we'll get through it a little bit quicker. So to recap where we were, we have our home island, we've got lots of bases, it's going well. We have our first foreign colony, Razorbeak Wood, over here, which is not doing too well right now because it's very new, but it will be doing well soon. We are one turn away from completing the Empath Guild, which will be exciting. Gaia's Landing is building colony pods, Greenhouse Gate is building colony pods. Just to ship over here because we found this other island, which is not very nutrient rich, but we can fix that with condensers, and it does have some nutrient resources on it, several actually. And we can turn it into a production facility. Basically, this can kind of be our, hopefully there's somebody over here in this area, and so this can kind of be our airstrip 1 for dealing with them. The other possibility, of course, is that someone is over here, and probably someone is in both of those places, near our main home base. And so we'll have to deal with that when the time comes. Here we have a transport foil that will be transporting colony pods. Exploring. Ooh, up, Isle of the Deep. We just lost another skimship probe team. Up, found another pod. That's nice. The downside of using skimship probe teams is that that will happen and they're non-combat units, so they have no chance of surviving. Of course, most scouting ships don't have much of a chance of surviving when attacked by Isles of the Deep anyway, but this is more important. We just built the Empath Guild.
Symbols are the key to telepathy. The mind wraps its secrets in symbols. When we discover the symbols that shape our enemy's thought, we can penetrate the vault of his mind. Lady Deidre Sky, our secret war.
Okay, so we just got the Empath Guild. That does several very important things. First of all, I want to talk about what it means. So this is really the soft sci-fi side of Alpha Centauri. We've moved into psychic contact. We now have telepaths, a whole guild of telepaths, who can contact people across planet without any actual mechanical way to do so. And presumably we've gotten our comlink frequencies through that kind of contact. We've pulled them from somebody's mind. So we can contact any leader. That's super valuable because now we can do trade and trade maps and trade information and research and all of that and get money through commerce with any leader. We have an infiltrator in every faction. So I don't remember. It's been a while since I played this game, but I believe that means that we can see every faction's basic information on the data links like we can see all of our information. And you get plus 50% votes in elections for planetary governor and supreme leader. That's useful because planetary governor has an executive veto on all votes on planetary policy. Once the council gets established, it's like the UN except actually effective. And you can vote on different things that you want everyone to do. This is also one way to win the game, through a diplomatic victory, where you actually vote yourself in as supreme leader for life, and everybody else, if you get enough votes, goes along with it. The governor gets +1 energy in commerce transactions at each base. That can be valuable. And you get an infiltrator in every other faction. So that's counteracted by the fact that we have the Empath Guild. And you get plus 50% votes to Supreme Leader as well from having the Empath Guild. So what is the Empath Guild? Well, the name is pretty self-explanatory. It is a guild of empaths. But what do these empaths do? They can contact people, clearly. Excuse me, my mic is in the way of my hands here. They can contact people, clearly. They can apparently read other people's minds to a significant extent. I mean, that's how you explain those plus 50% votes. So we've got these psychics. And what kind of psychics are they? Well, think about when you were watching that video, did you hear that little bit of kind of eerie, otherworldly music in the background? My speculation, backed up by the fact that the quote for the Empath Guild is given by Deirdre, and so presumably in the canonical story for this game, the Gaians were the ones to get the Empath Guild. These are the same psychics that they have controlling mindworm boils, because remember, mindworm boils are controlled by psychics. They're not controlled by technology, they're not driven by food or something that you offer them. When we have mindworm boil units that we've captured, we have captured them by sending a psychic human to walk out into the middle of the boil and mentally control them. So, that's pretty cool.
Complete.
So, since we have comm frequencies for all other active factions, you can now, if you wish, convene the Planetary Council to vote upon planetary policies, including the election of a planetary governor. To convene the council, use the council button on the comlink status display. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take some time out now, and I'm going to contact each and every other faction and do diplomacy with them. So let's see what happens. First we'll contact Yang. Or Yang, I'm sorry. Welcome to Planet Lady Deirdre. You bring many unique talents to our new world, blah blah blah. Yang Chairman of the Hive. Yang Chairman of the Hive. Yang Chairman of the Hive. And plan to found a society on the principles of security and control. My nemesis, Colonel Santiago of the Spartans, is bent on equipping a private army to seize control of planet. No, the Spartans? A private army? Really? I propose that you switch allegiances and help me stop her before it is too late. No, I'm not going to do that because the Spartans are way more powerful than the Hive is, and I'm not sure I know who I want to get into a war with just yet. He wants nonlinear mathematics for doctrine loyalty. I'm not going to do... Well, the thing is, the Hive is really weak at the moment. And we don't have stealing technology on. That's an option you can set, that you steal technology from somebody when you conquer a base. But we don't have that turned on because it's not part of the default rule set. So, he can't do much with nonlinear mathematics. I would like doctrine loyalty, so I'm going to do the trade.
Therefore, a wise prince will seek means by which his subjects will always, and in every possible condition of things, have need of his government. And then they will always be faithful to him. Niccolo Machiavelli, The Prince, Data Links.
So, doctrine loyalty is this idea of emphasizing loyalty to the state and the power of the state over other priorities. So as it says here, based on the revelations of social psych, the new doctrine loyalty stresses extensive training, defensive facilities, and zealous dedication to faction leaders as the foundation for survival and success in combat. Doctrine loyalty emphasizes a two-way fealty. Soldiers are expected to lay down their lives without question, but in return they receive respect, power, and positions of authority in the new social hierarchy. So implementing police state, which is the social engineering choice this allows, is sort of turning towards that militaristic, security-minded model. Well, of course, Yang loves this technology, so do the Spartans actually. But this allows us to build two things that are super important. Perimeter defenses, which multiplies our base defenders' defense strength by 100%, effectively doubling it, and the command nexus, which counts as a command center at every base. So it gives every unit we build anywhere, for free, a 2-point morale upgrade. So in our case, they would go from very green to disciplined. We want that because we have a penalty to morale. Let's commence social engineering just to look at it. So the police state, it lowers efficiency, it increases police, and it increases support. So if we were to do it, we would go down to only commendable efficiency instead of a paradigm economy, so we could no longer shift this stuff around for free, but we're still reasonably efficient. We would support 4 units free per base. We can use up to 2 military units as police, but we would end up with a growth rate negative. I may actually want to do that just for the free unit support, which would give me a bunch more minerals to play around with effectively, because many of my bases are paying unit support right now. From the number of formers I have and the colony pods and the scout units I have out there. But I'm hoping to rely on worms as I capture more and more mind worms, and those don't need support anyway. So we'll stick with democratic for the moment. Gene splicing in exchange for a world map. No, but I could divulge high energy chemistry. Remember, I'm not scared of giving Yang military technologies. Oh, he doesn't want it. Nope. Okay, I'll sign a treaty. Why not? That screen that I just accidentally skipped past was him saying that democracy isn't the enemy of society and order and everything, because Remember, I talked way back at the beginning that there are social engineering choices that the different leaders don't like. Democracy is Yang, the things that Yang hates. So the fact that I'm running democracy makes him hate me. We won't stay friends for long, but he's probably not going to be alive for too much long. He's probably not going to be alive for too much longer. Be warned that I shall not long tolerate collaboration with my mortal enemy, the paranoid Colonel Santiago. I need your vote in an upcoming council meeting. Let me see. What would he... Okay, so in order to vote for me, he would want almost 300 credits or gene splicing and high energy chemistry, which I can't afford. I don't want to give him both those things, so screw it. I believe we're finished here. So let's see what his world map... Oh, right, I didn't get his world map because I wanted to give him high energy chemistry for it. Duh. Let's talk to Zakharov. Okay, he's ambivalent, so he's okay with me. Have you heard from Yang recently? Yep, sure. I'll take that for 50 energy. He will give me optical computers if I give him secrets of the human brain. That's satisfactory.
We have reached an informational threshold which can only be crossed by harnessing the speed of light directly. The quickest computations require the fastest possible particles moving along the shortest paths. Since the capability now exists to take our information directly from photons traveling molecular distances, the final act of the information revolution will soon be upon us. Academician Prokhor Zakharov, for I have tasted the fruit.
So optical computers is not valuable in and of itself. It doesn't actually do anything. What it does is unlock superconductor and advanced military algorithms, both of which are important prerequisite technologies for other high-level technologies. Also, superconductor gives you the Gatling laser, which is an okay weapon and also just a sweet idea. It's just a bunch of lasers nailed together, rotating. It's pretty cool. And advanced military algorithms gives you deep radar, which lets your units see farther. It gives you AAA tracking, which is vital if your opponents have air units. It gives you the punishment sphere. It gives you the power social engineering model. And it's the prerequisite to pre-sentient algorithms, which gives you one of the best secret projects in the game, the Hunter-Seeker algorithm, which renders probe teams absolutely useless against you. Okay, they want to share intellectual integrity for gene splicing. I'm not sure I want to give him gene splicing if he doesn't have it, because I want to keep him resource locked as long as possible, so I'll offer Centauri empathy instead.
Unfailing capacity to believe what he prefers to be true, rather than what the evidence shows to be likely and possible, has always astounded me. We long for a caring universe which will save us from our childish mistakes, and in the face of mountains of evidence to the contrary, we will pin all our hopes on the slimmest of doubts. God has not been proven not to exist. Therefore, he must exist. Academician Prokhor Zakharov, for I have tasted the fruit.
Okay, so this tells you a little bit about Zakharov, for one thing. He is an avowed and devout atheist, and I use the word devout deliberately. In the background material, there are some interesting conversations between him and Miriam, in which Miriam is shown much more sympathetically than she is in the game, interestingly, and in which it's shown that Zakharov actually clings to atheism, not for any reason that he has logically worked out, but just because he hates the idea of God. So intellectual integrity is another fascinating technology, actually. So we've developed this. This is a philosophical development. According to this philosophy, valid wisdom comes merely from asking questions unburdened by prejudices. Only by shedding those preconceived notions can we achieve the clarity of undistorted knowledge. Which also makes this quote interesting, because you can read it in two ways. You can either agree with what Zakharov is saying, and particularly in relation to God, or you can take this as evidence that Zakharov himself does not actually have pure intellectual integrity yet, if he's striving towards it. But intellectual integrity unlocks high morale and non-lethal methods, which are unit upgrades, unit special abilities we can apply. High morale gives a morale upgrade to the unit, and non-lethal methods makes it count twice when it comes to when it comes to policing. Just choked on my own spit a little bit there. The Citizens Defense Force, meanwhile, gives you a perimeter defense at every base for free, so that's another very valuable secret project. We're not going to be able to get all these secret projects, so we're going to have to pick and choose. Okay, he really wants gene splicing. I'll offer him high energy chemistry instead.
Advance is an inherently iterative process. One does not simply take sand from the beach and produce a data probe. We use crude tools to fashion better tools, and then our better tools to fashion more precise tools, and so on. Each minor refinement is a step in the process, and all of the steps must be taken. Chairman Shen Jiyang, looking God in the eye.
And here we see more of Yang. He is a very smart person. He's not dumb. He's not merely a brutal dictator. He's a highly intelligent, refined, brutal dictator. So this allows artillery, which is a very interesting unit type that you don't have to make heavy use of. In fact, you don't really have to use it at all. But it can be useful in some circumstances because it can attack from multiple squares away. I'm sorry, this is not a hex-based grid. And by attacking from multiple spaces away, it just does a little bit of damage to everybody in the square, which means if your opponent has a doom stack of, 10, 15 high-level units, and you have a bunch of artillery, you can pummel them, lower them all to 50 or 60% HP or less, and then attack, start winning battles, start inflicting collateral damage. You can collapse a doom stack very easily that way. It also increases probe team base morale and unlocks a couple other techs. So, to design better units. Yeah, impact battery, we would like. We can't give 2 special abilities yet because we don't have neural grafting. So we've got impact battery. He wants gene splicing for his world map. I'm actually going to do this one. I've gotten a lot out of him. Gene splicing will help him, but not that much because the AI isn't very good at terraforming, and I do want to see more of the world. So, we are peaceful researchers. Will you sign a treaty of friendship? Yes, I will. Okay, so we've got a treaty of friendship. I want to elect planetary governor. I will pay him 33 credits for his vote. I believe we're finished here. Okay, so here's the university. We were heading right towards them. You see what I mean when I say that the AI does not terraform much. University base, nothing's been done to that. He's got some solar collectors and a couple of farms. He's got lots of roads. The AI is good at doing road networks, but he's got these little bases, not very well developed, not much terraforming compared to my island. Just compare. So, and I can see Morgan up here, so let's talk to Morgan. Now called CEO Morgan, he has a lot of energy. So in the data links, we can see it's +1 economy, -1 support, begins with extra energy credits, needs a hab complex to grow over size 4. So the Morganites are even more prone than all the others to infinite city sprawl. Okay, he wants us to fight the university. He's at war with the university. His might is sufficient. I forgot to look at what the university's was. But you know what? I'm heading in the university's direction anyway. And they're pretty small, and I would like to take them out. So, I'm going to say yes. And yes, let's sign a treaty. I'm not scared of Morgan militarily, so I'm fine with citing a treaty. I can take him over later. But he doesn't like green economics, so I will eventually have to deal with him. I want to be voted governor, but he wants 587 credits. Wow. Research data. I need but name your price? Nope. Okay, never mind. So I have just betrayed the university and stabbed him in the back, but I think they'll still vote for me. Miriam. Hey, have you heard from Yang recently? Yes, I'm forwarding his comm frequency now. She wants nonlinear mathematics. Her might is wanting. Sure, I'll take the map. Nope. Okay, lasting peace is a great deal. She doesn't like democracy because she likes fundamentalism, which is the other government, another government option. So, that's fine. I want to be elected planetary governor. Holy crap, she wants a lot. No. So the believers are way down here. They're suffering drone riots. So yeah, since I have an infiltrator with the Empath Guild, I can actually look at her bases. So this base would be doing pretty well, except it's drone rioting, so it can't actually do anything. She's got recon rovers, laser infantry, blah-de-blah-de-blah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So far, both of the factions whose maps I've gotten have had water travel already, so it's a good thing that I got it, because I need to stay competitive. But she has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, she has fewer bases, and smaller, and less well-developed, so she's not a threat either. Let's talk about Lao. He's feeble. No, I'm not going to betray the believers. Intellectual integrity? How about optical computers? Nope, no thank you. I'll sign a treaty with you. I want to elect planetary governor. Oh, nope, too important to change his position. Alright. So we've got his map as well. And he has done literally no terraforming whatsoever. Lao, you stupid piece of crap. Okay, fine. The believers are going to wipe him out, probably. Now let's go to the council. I have 63 votes. Let's elect the planetary governor. Santiago voted for me, interestingly. Zakharov did not, because I declared vendetta on him. Everyone else abstained, so I will vote for myself, and I will become planetary governor. So, you have been elected planetary governor. As governor, you hold an executive veto, you gain +1 energy, blah 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 blah. And the nominal world government. As you can see, I am not actually making much energy from commerce, but I am in my larger base over here. It's related to size and I believe energy production. So I'm getting +1, +1, +1, +1. Total, I'm getting 4 energy from commerce, which goes straight to economy, which is nice. Over here, I'm also getting energy from commerce. Last Rose of Summer. Yeah, let's hurry up that Rec Commons. Garden of the Deep. Razorbeak Wood, let's hurry up that Former. Move to 150. Yeah, let's move him up there. And actually, we can't build a base yet. Unity Rover will stay. This Impact Rover is healing. Here we have our mine, so now we're getting 3 minerals from that, so we're doing all right in Garden of the Deep. You don't need a mineral there, you need to be getting energy and nutrients. So ocean shelf squares can be terraformed. Ocean squares cannot. This Scout Rover, actually, I am going to upgrade to an impact. I don't have the credits for it. Fine. Fine. We have a farm. We'll build a mine there. That will help out the Flowers Preach, which is stockpiling energy right now despite having 10 minerals. So, the real question now is which of these we want to go through for first, the Command Nexus or the Citizens Defense Force. The Command Nexus is easier and gives us an offensive bonus as well as a defensive bonus, a small one, due to the increased morale. The Citizens Defense Force makes us very, very, very hard to attack effectively. However, I'm not afraid of being attacked right now, so I'm going to go for the Command Nexus.
Project initiated.
This Unity foil is empty, we're just using it to scout.
Energy resources.
Okay, we've discovered energy. We've discovered an Isle of the Deep. We are going to get this Unity rover off of there. Oh crap, more mindworms. Okay, we captured those mindworms. Fantastic.
Production complete.
So we've got a Rec Commons here. We're making a ton of energy at this base. So at this point, we are definitely going to build a network node for the labs bonus.
Production complete.
Can we upgrade this unit to an impact rover? Yes.
Terraform complete.
We're going to get some colony pods going. Gaia's landing. We need to shift over towards building military units now because we are fighting the university. So at Gaia's landing, we are going to build a research lab? Biology lab? No. Build a Rec Commons. We'll need that in the future. Gaia's Landing does not have many minerals right now, but they're building a borehole, so they will soon. Autumn... excuse me, choking again. Autumn Grove needs a Rec Commons because they have a drone.
Request confirmation.
And then after that, they need a skimship probe team to go steal some tech from the university. And then maybe an impact foil. You jump on the transport. You wait.
Complete.
So we've got this impact rover now. Let's explore the last remaining end of our island. Right here. We will build another base, the Veil of Winds.
Insufficient energy.
Get our Transplasma Sentinels. Right. Because our support is low, we are not getting free minerals for a new base anymore. So we will have to pay with money for all the things that we want.
Pod recovered.
Sonar pod, that's nice. This boil of mindworms. Yeah, cancel orders. Okay, he managed to survive, so we'll get the worms aboard there. See if we can capture these worms. Nope, we'll kill them then. Okay, and you saw they both disappeared. I think I talked about that before. Energy reserves increase when you kill worms, all that good stuff. Up, more worms. Now everyone is starting the Command Nexus.
Production
Unity
complete.
Rover survived, that's nice.
Invalid command.
Also, the other cool thing about psi attacks is that they are not limited by having moved earlier in the turn. So you can launch a psi attack even after using up 2/3 of your move and still attack at full strength. We're going to destroy his former because I just don't want him gaining anything. So we've won the first Gaian battle victory, only 70 years after Yang won his first victory. This Unity foil can go grab that. Colony pods, we're shifting away from colony pods and towards military units. Now here's the thing, we already have this impact infantry unit, which has plasma steel armor. It costs 40 minerals. If you take the armor off, it costs half as much. And if your infantry is getting attacked at this point in the game, you're likely to start losing anyway, because offensive infantry, when you're moving them to attack enemy bases and they don't have any defensive bonuses, remember, weapons outpace armor. So often, what you actually want to do is build unarmored infantry with the best weapon possible. And then you can also give them a special ability. In this case, I'll give them high morale, so a trained impact squad. So they'll be better, and they still take fewer turns to build than those armored units. Autumn Grove, meanwhile, is stealing all the minerals. So we need to actually get some more spots for Autumn Grove. So you can wait. You jump on the transport, which is waiting. This impact rover can also move up to Autumn Grove. We have a sensor here. We might as well build a farm beneath it. There's no reason not to. Here we need to terraform this space level to get rid of the rocks. Morganites have lost Morgan solar effects to the university. Interesting. Our Transplasma Sentinels got their 50% trance bonus and so easily defeated that Isle of the Deep. So, not Morgan Transport, Morgan solar effects. Information, he doesn't have doctrine flexibility. Ooh, industrial automation. This technology changes the game. I want. Dang it. Dang it. I was so happy for a minute there. So this transport fall is going to land another colony pod. After that, we'll probably let this area expand on its own. We'll shift our transports over to moving military units to attack the university, Zakharov. Well, we'll have one more colony pod. Okay, nothing over there. We'll move him up to the north so we can use him as an attacking unit. Let's drop off the Mindworms, and then start you moving back to pick up some more units. This Unity rover needs to rest.
Pod recovered.
Okay, resupply pod, that's cool.
Production complete.
That's a lot of synth metal sentinels. Synth metal garrison. Wow. I wonder why he did that. We're going to build a rec commons here, and after that we're going to get an impact battery and a couple of rovers.
Production complete.
Okay, our first thermal borehole just completed near Greenhouse Gate. So, this thermal borehole, when it's maxed out, it will give us 6 energy and 6 minerals at base. Right now, Greenhouse Gate is not making many nutrients because it's that got stolen by Autumn Grove. We're going to move off of Autumn Grove off of that because it doesn't really need it. Autumn Grove's already big. So Greenhouse Gate, that can go over there. Yeah. And this guy can move over here. So now he's making 6 minerals. So now we have +5 minerals, which will increase our production speed very much. Greenhouse Gate is supporting a lot of units, which is why they don't have many minerals, but that's fine. We can shift those around later. What we can do is actually we can set this unit to home at Veil of Winds.
Request confirmation.
We'll finish that Transplasma Sentinels. And actually, let's upgrade this Unity rover to an Impact rover. This Transplasma Sentinels, I don't know why he's awake. Ooh, more exploration to be done. Okay, odds of 11 to 7. They do have a sensor, which is right up there. We can destroy that to remove that 25% bonus. But you may notice our planet score of +30% is giving us a distinct bonus in Psi Combat. +30%, which is something pretty serious. Forest expands, kelp expands. Kelp expands like forests do, which is handy. Alright, now you can go pick up some more military units. So we've got that borehole near Greenhouse Gate. Like I said, once the energy restriction is lifted, which will come later, we'll also be making a bunch of energy off of that. When that point, the energy bank we have becomes really valuable. Over here, this space we're not using for anything, so we will borehole that space. Once again, I'm not playing this in the Gaian style. Deirdre would crucify me if she saw me doing all this crap in her territory. It would be bad. I would be dead. Very dead.
Complete. Terraform complete.
Another thermal borehole near Memory of Earth. Goody goody gumdrops. We're going to move this guy off the forest and onto here just because I want more nutrients so that we can grow faster. Oh, and there's a borehole already sitting here. The borehole cluster. It's just one borehole. Okay. Okay, so the University have a impact skim ship with synth metal armor. They don't have plasma steel yet, which is bombarding my Unity rover, and I don't care. So we're going to move this colony pod up to build a base up here in the Great Dunes. Actually, we might build it right here in the Great Dunes, just to make real good use of space. And then we'll build another one up here so it has access to that nutrient bonus. This guy will drop off his colony pod up there, and then drop off his rover. So, memory of Earth, minerals, 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 minerals.
Terraform complete.
We will build a borehole. Boreholes are the most useful of the advanced terraforming options because they give you tons of minerals and energy. Now, condensers are also vital because they give you those 4 nutrients per square. Echelon mirrors are somewhat less important than the others, just because they give you a little more energy production, but boreholes also give you a ton of energy production. So echelon mirrors are just, they're nice to have sometimes, but they're not vital. They're only useful in conjunction with solar collectors, with which, once you have boreholes, you won't be making all that many of. More exploration, more exploration. Okay, he just killed one of our mindworms. That's fine.
Fossil fuels in the last century reached their extreme prices because of their inherent utility. They pack a great deal of potential energy into an extremely efficient package. If we can but sidestep the 100 million year production process, we can corner this market once again. CEO Nwabuduke Morgan, strategy session.
Okay, so now we have developed the technology between advanced subatomic theory and gene splicing. We can now create fossil fuels, rocket fuel and gasoline and all that stuff artificially. Which, in this case, mostly it allows fungicide tanks, which lets us clear fungus twice as fast, which is nice. It also gives us the missile launcher, and the missile launcher is the first weapon at which point you really, really outpace armor. Excuse my burp there. But the missile launcher allows for very aggressive offensive attacks. So, yep, we got missile battery, we got missile rover, we got missile squad, we got missile skim ship, we got trained missile squad, missile artillery, fungicidal C-formers, fungicidal formers, all that good stuff. Yeah, we'll upgrade it just to remove fungus faster. We're going to add in Discover and Explore because at this point all the technologies are pretty useful, and I'm just going to let them choose at random. We're going to move our mindworm back and heal. Oh, I did not mean to. That colony pod, where is that colony pod going? Oh, it's going right there. Here we're going to build a rolling and moist. We're just going to forest it up.
Complete. Terraform complete.
New thermal borehole. So we're at +2 nutrients right now. We'll be stagnant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 population is okay to be stagnant, especially when it means that we're at +15 minerals. We're now doing 2 points of eco damage because we are generating so many minerals. So we've got that impact foil coming out, and after that, we will build the Citizens Defense Force at Autumn Grove. This skimship probe team, meanwhile, will run up here, try to evade the university water patrol. Oh, for crying out loud, another Isle of the Deep. Really? Really? Oh, man, that sucks. Get a wreck commons in Silverbird Park. Oh, and upgrade this Plasma Sentinel to a Trans-Plasma Sentinel. And you can go auto. We're still exploring over here. You may notice I am not fully committing to the war with the university. And that's because I'm not scared of the university. They don't have much force projection. They don't have much... They don't have much. Honestly. They just don't have much. So it's like, meh. Build some impact foils. You know, get some troops out there. Take them over. It won't be that big a deal. And we're going to build probably another borehole over there. Just for laughs. Build another borehole on that space, which isn't very useful. We'll build Forest Primeval in an arid zone,
Confirmation.
funnily enough. Recycling tanks. We already have one former, but we could use another one. And then this base probably isn't going to start building military units for a little while, so we'll get a Rec Commons next. You stay there. You fall back. This mine worm can just keep exploring. You hold in place. You borehole. You solar collector. So you can see how useful these spaces are. I'm not using all of them yet just because I don't have the population, but that was a waste. The AI will try to assign every new worker to a space that it thinks is useful, but it doesn't have a very good idea of what useful is.
Sufficient energy.
And, you know, it doesn't really know what it is that you want. And what I want from that base is... Oh, nope, I don't mean to name a landmark. What I want from that base is nutrients and energy. So the hive has lost Fecundity Tower to the Spartans.
Eradicated.
And the hive has been eradicated. The hive is gone, not coming back.
Indigenous life forms.
Okay, Mindworm Boil. We captured the Mindworm Boil. Great. Free Mindworms. Woo! You just wait there for pickup. You hold.
Complete.
Impact Foil. Move him up. Oh, we've got some pods up here. This Mindworm is still exploring.
Production complete.
So you can see the artillery shots from that ship, because ship can fire like artillery. They fire over 2 spaces, they do a little bit of damage to everything in the square, and they can destroy improvements, which can be useful economic warfare. But they're just bombing that Unity rover over and over, keeping it at low health. Artillery cannot destroy a unit. It can only reduce it to 10% health. So they're actually totally wasting their time, but that's fine. So Last Rose of Summer got its network node. It's now up to 12 labs per turn. We'll build an energy bank because Last Rose of Summer is bringing in a bunch of energy, especially with its commerce bonus. So we've got a forest there. Here we have a transport foil. We've got a trained impact squad building. Impact foil over here. We'll get one more of those, and then we'll get a trained missile squad. And then a missile rover. And then probably a recreation commons. Clear fungus. Disembark the colony pod. The impact rover, meanwhile, can come up here to reinforce the attack on the university. Actually. Want to come over there. So, Gaia's Landing is at 4 population. We're getting a recreation commons. Still growing pretty quickly. I don't think we need another condenser, so we're going to build a borehole there. This guy's going to go for transport. So the war is progressing very well, despite the fact that we haven't actually done much fighting. But we're getting units up here slowly. We're building up. We're going to take Copernic Observatory. Then we will move on and take Monitoring Station and Okritia Discovery, which is building the virtual world. So war's going well, despite the fact that no real fighting has happened yet. I'm going to give this a few more minutes before I start wrapping up.
Production.
A few more
complete.
turns.
Production complete. Terraform complete.
Garden of the Deep is stockpiling energy, which is like, okay, but what I really want is, with all that energy, you've got significant labs and economy. I want to wreck commons, because you're about to start getting drones. And after the wreck commons, we can maybe get a... not units, because your minerals are terrible, but we can get a network node. Trained Impact Squad to Autumn Grove. Build a base there. Gaia's High Garden.
Request confirmation.
So, we're going to sneak this guy over to Okritia Discovery and try to steal some technology from the university. I keep pressing the wrong buttons when I want to do that. And over here, we're going to grab that pod. Oh, cool. Let's just finish the trained missile squad next turn.
Indigenous life forms.
Okay, so this is normally the worst thing that can possibly happen, being surrounded by mine worms like this, but in this case, in my case, it's actually pretty good, because they won't attack this mine worm unit. I can just attack them, you know, and get bigger and better. And I don't have anything else there. Yeah, we'll upgrade our future production to missile units. We'll just wait and heal up a little bit. wait to grab those mind worms. So Garden of the Deep, doing good. Doing fantastic. Memory of Earth, doing good. You are going to go up there. You stay there to attract his attention.
Terraform complete.
So yeah, that is an impact skim ship. I said that before. So the Morganites and the university have signed a treaty. Let me see if I can get... Okay, he wants gene splicing, maybe for cyber ethics? Nope, make a trader stop wasting my time. I want your research data. No, okay, fine. How about Santiago? Santiago doesn't like me. Fear I must decline. Nope. Oh, the Spartans don't have doctrine flexibility. Wow. Okay, I could swear a pact with Lao. I don't know why. I pressed the wrong button in doing that, but it's interesting because I could swear a pact with Lao, but he would want intellectual integrity. I can't do that. I want a joint attack on Colonel Santiago of the Spartans. Nope, okay, never mind. Okay, so before I go, I'm gonna start wrapping up here, but before I do, I'm going to look at everybody's status, which I can do because I have infiltrators in everybody. So, my labs, breakthroughs every 11 years. The Hive is gone. University every 15 years, and we can see what he's discovered. He's up to Cyber Ethics B4. I'm up to E4 in 2 places, so I'm a little ahead of him. Over here you can see the tech progress. He's behind in Explore, but ahead in Build. Otherwise, we're pretty neck and neck when it comes to technology. Morganites, breakthroughs every 7 years, but if you look at his bars, that's because he's researching much easier technologies. See, I get 91 tech per turn. He gets 50 tech per turn. Oh, the university only gets 44 tech per turn. Wow. I thought, okay, never mind. The Spartans get 14 tech per turn. They're not doing so hot. The Believers get 11 tech per turn because they are the Believers and they suck at research. And the Peacekeepers get 11 tech per turn because they have not built anything and they're not doing very well. Budget-wise, I'm making 57 a year. The university is making 9 a year. The Morganites are making 21 a year. The Spartans are making 8 a year. The Believers are making 5 a year, and the Peacekeepers are making 4 a year. So I am way out ahead of everybody. We can look at secret project reports. I have 3 secret projects. The Morganites have 1. Everyone is building stuff. The virtual world is the subject of a race. The command nexus is the subject of a race. But it's a race that I'm probably going to win. We can actually look at University Base. University Base is getting 7 minerals a turn. The command nexus will be done in 14 turns. The Flowers Preach will build the command nexus in 4 turns because they have 13 minerals a turn. And actually, I could even hurry that and finish it this turn if I wanted. But I don't particularly. The danger is that they'll switch to the Citizens Defense Force when they realize they're outmatched and try to finish that in a hurry. So I am going to hurry the Citizens Defense Force in an effort to beat them to both. Going back to HQ, Military Command Nexus. This shows you all the units that you have all available, all in production, and all the ones that you've lost. You can look at this to get some information about what kind of military action people have been involved in. I've not been involved in much. I lost some skimship probe teams to Mindworms, to Isles of the Deep, which was my bad. I lost some gunfoils to Isles of the Deep. I've lost some Transplasma Sentinels to Mindworms. And I've lost 1 impact foil to Mindworms. The Hive only ever got up to laser infantry before they were wiped out by the Spartans, and they lost all their units. The University has lost 3 synth metal garrisons, 2 of them to me. And otherwise, they have not had many losses. So they only have 1 impact rover, 3 impact squads active. So their war against the Morganites seems to have been fairly slow, and they did not lose much there. Yeah, the Morganites lost 3 laser infantry, 2 synth metal sentinels, 2 scout patrols. They have 6 plasma garrisons active. The Spartans have 12 plasma sentinels active. So all units 35, 6 in production, and 13 lost. I have 44 units active, and I've lost 10. The Morganites and the University are both well behind. The Believers have 33 units active. Have they been fighting a war? They've lost some laser infantry and some plasma coastals, so they might have been fighting something. And the Believers have not been doing crap. Then we can finally look at our score. Score-wise, we're at 181, population, commerce, technology, and secret projects. The Hive lost at 6. The University is at 51, Morganites at 70, Spartans at 34, Believers at 37, and Peacekeepers at 27. So we are well and away. We are running away with this game. Maybe I should have played at one of the higher difficulty levels. I mean, I have played this game a lot, and really, I have to emphasize again, this advantage that I have comes because of terraforming. Because I have been doing all that terraforming, because my island looks like this, and the Believers' island looks like this, despite the fact they have the uranium flats, which give them extra energy. And the University, who had a terrible starting position, I feel so sorry for them, but because they haven't been terraforming it. You know, if their island was terraformed as heavily as my island, then despite the fact that they have so much less land, they would be doing pretty well in this game. But militarily, it says Colonel Santiago is ahead of me, but overall, I'm winning, and that's just because I have the technology, I have the population, I have the territory, and all of that comes back to my terraforming, to the fact that I did all this terraforming, and my terraforming was effective. So, thank you all so much for watching. We'll see how long this video is when it actually goes up. I may do some little cuts here and there to avoid boring parts. Although, of course, there's no boring parts to my videos. Everything I do is entertaining, right? Right? Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this, leave a like on the video. Feel free to subscribe to the channel, and more content like this will be coming to you on the regular. And hey, leave a comment. Ask me something about the game, or about history, the philosophers that are referenced, something about that. I love to talk. I love to both to hear myself talk and to write down the things that I'm saying. So I love comments, and I will respond to every single one of them. So thank you once again, and I will see you in the next video.